Welcome to this edition of The Right Stand. I am Anand Narsimhan. Our top focus, Prime Minister Narendra Modi scheduled to visit Mizoram and Manipur on Saturday as part of a major development push, and especially Manipur. Now, during his visit, he will travel to Churachandpur, where he will lay the foundation stone for a series of development projects estimated to be worth over 7,300 crore rupees. These projects are expected to significantly boost infrastructure and economic growth in the region following months of strife in Manipur. Now, following the event in Churachandpur, the Prime Minister will also proceed to the state capital of Imphal, and there he will inaugurate completed projects valued over 1,200 crore rupees. Now, this is a major development drive in Manipur where communal and ethnic fault lines continue to persist between different groups. Now, ahead of Prime Minister's visit, Kamalika Sengupta of News 18 gets us this report. She's on ground.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi is expected to come on Saturday with huge developmental projects. He's going to inaugurate, what we are getting it from our sources, is near about 8,500 crore developmental projects will be inaugurated by Narendra Modi. Here in Imphal and also in Churachandpur, huge arrangements have been made because he is going to do two sabhas, one in Churachandpur and second in Imphal. Here in Kangla Fort, inside the Kangla Fort, he will have a public meeting here, and you can see that huge arrangements, security arrangements are being made. Senior army officers have been here camping for some time, and they have been checking all the procedures. Senior security personnel, all the senior officers are here.
I am very happy. In fact, that is what we all are looking forward for the last 2 years, and I'm sure that with his visit here, there is a ray of hope in bringing about a change in Manipur, and sooner the state will return to the normalcy. It will boost up the normalcy, and people do expect the Prime Minister to be giving some points regarding especially the situation which has really deteriorated in the last 2 years, and we all hope that it will help in bringing about an understanding, removing the trust deficit, and also bring about a confidence amongst the people with the central government.
Tell us that, the Prime Minister's visit, what's your expectation?
Although the visit of the Prime Minister is a little late, we hope that there will be positive changes through his visit. We are resilient people, and however the scars of this conflict is still visible, we believe and hope that we can move forward through peace, and then Prime Minister will bring normalcy in our state.
The road which leads to Imphal to Churachandpur is heavily guarded by security, and obviously the VVIP will come. And you can see that in this entire route, this type of anti-mine cars, anti-mine vehicle, anti-bomb vehicle, bulletproof vehicles are being deployed in this entire area. Here itself we can see that 7 anti-mine vehicle and anti-bulletproof vehicles have been provided, and you can see that the security forces are keeping a very strong eye.
So a lot of preparations. It's a clear Vikas push. Now, will this win the Vishwas of the people? What's the road ahead? And can these fissures, which are also talking about increased segregation, and somewhere that could perhaps lead to a divide within the boundaries, land region of Manipur itself. Now, these are all issues which have to be overcome, especially this ethnic divide, that wedge which is being driven deep. But a lot of it is being fueled by also drug running and a certain level of involvement of elements who want to fuel insurgency or in that region. Colonel Shantikumar Sapam, spokesperson on the Meitei Heritage Society, is with us. Dr. Anand Ranganathan, author and also political commentator, with us. He's also a scientist. We should also have Dr. Haukip, Assistant Professor, Center for Study of Law and Governance at the JNU, also joining us. So we have two people who ply their wares with the JNU in the national capital, but who have keen interest across Bharat, and one of them especially with the Northeast with us. But first, Colonel Sapam, How is the situation in Manipur at this point? And it's significant that 4 days ahead of him turning 75 years and more than about 2 years since this entire strife started in Manipur, Prime Minister Narendra Modi arrives at a time when things seem to be moving towards resolution and somewhere, hopefully, back on track, the growth track. Yes, Colonel Saab.
Anand, good evening, and good evening to both the panelists and Jai Hind to the entire country. The situation in Manipur is quite okay as of now. There's no, there's no disturbance, and things are shaping up well. Preparation for the visit of the Honorable Prime Minister is going on at two places. These two places, Imphal and Churachandpur. And things are going well, and I think he'll be received very, very nicely with a lot of, warm hearts. And though we have been waiting for him to come since a long time, but then it's a very good, it's a present event, present moment that he is coming tomorrow, and we are all looking forward to him. He's an institution of this mighty democracy in the world, biggest democracy in the world, and when he comes, everybody, the weight is there, when he comes, the weight is there, and today he is a world figure now, he's a very popular figure in the world, and we are all looking forward to his coming over here, and we're looking forward to a lot of positive things, within both the communities, to come to, what do you call, amicable solutions, or let's say, some sort of understanding between the two groups basically. So I am taking it with a lot of positive vibes. We will have, I think this visit will play a very big role as far as bringing peace in my state is concerned. I'm looking forward to it.
And it's good to hear that kind of a thought, but does it come from both sides? You, Dr. Haukip, you can speak on the Kuki Zo aspect because you interact with them a lot. What is the sentiment there? There has been a certain level of coming back into suspension of operations and also coming back onto the truce path. But will these communities continue to increasingly have this divide that you live in your part of the area, I live in my part, because that is not healthy. How much time will that take to heal?
And then peace will come eventually, but it will take time. Time is the factor. But at this time, we are expecting more from the central government. For instance, the kind of developmental policies that we have in the Northeast is continuing, and many of this political lag or we say developmental lag in the region are basically the questions of political problems. Political problem has not been addressed for the last 2.5 years in Manipur, which many leaders from the Kokijo communities are trying to raise in New Delhi, which has been suppressed in this visit. And if you look into the press release, or the government of Manipur recently has released the developmental projects that our Prime Minister will be releasing tomorrow. And out of these projects, if you look into carefully, right, of course, to put into perspective, there is a kind of New Delhi enforced developmentalism in the northeastern region, and in this developmentalism, there has been a strong bias against development of the hill peripheral areas, and it is the same trickle-down policy that has been followed for the last 75 years in India. So, if you look into the 24 projects that will be inaugurated by our Prime Minister Modi tomorrow, you can see that 11 of them are specific to Imphal Valley. And out of this, 7 are in the Naga areas. Only 1 or 2 are in Churachandpur district. To forget about other Tengnopal or Kampopi district. So you look into the specifics, and why don't the government of Manipur arrange his visit to Ukhrul rather than Churachandpur if there are 7 or 8 developmental projects to be released tomorrow. So this is the question. So
Yeah.
and in terms of these new districts in Manipur, you have Kangpopi, you have Tingnopal, you have Jiribam and others. But there are only two districts, Kakching and Kamjong, in terms of infrastructure creation and development. So where are the Kuki-Jo areas in this developmental project? So totally, this is a kind of misplaced kind of priorities that the PMO has arranged in this visit. So
Just like you said, Dr. Haukip, that things will take time. It has to first reach Imphal, and I think that Churachandpur Jiribam is a very strategically critical area for connectivity all across the northeast, and also to try and perhaps supersede certain other intentions from outside or beyond our borders. And it will come, and it's not that it won't come. I think we should look forward to what the Prime Minister has to say in Churachandpur, and if there is a particular address to the Kuki-Zo and largely Kuki-Zo dominated regions of perhaps Jiribam and Kangkopi and what is said there, along with of course to the Meiteis in Imphal who would also want to see messages. See, when it is ethnic strife, a person who's looking at the whole state and whole of the country will want to address both sides and understand both sides. First, the railway lines have to come. That's a very important corridor which we are looking at to try and improve trade, not just all across the northeast, to create gateways beyond the chicken neck, but also to perhaps move further into the east. And that is something which is strategically important for all Bharatiya. Irrespective of what tribe, what ethnicity, what group we are, it's going to bring development in the future. But these things perhaps will happen slowly. It's not that one is being chosen over the other. It is at least first let's get to Imphal. It's only in the last decade that most of these regions are even getting air connectivity. You don't need an inner line permit to come there anymore. People can fly in and fly out without having to worry about whether they have a passport or not. So those things, it's taken some time. And of course, what was achieved in 4-5 years got derailed between 23 and 25. Should that, it's also coming back. I'm just saying we have to have a larger perspective saying that yes, and if we try and get into say, usko diya, mujhe nahi diya, udhar gaya, idhar nahi aaya, it's not going to end. We'll continue to crib then.
Look, in terms of Manipur conflict, you would see that the Kuki-Jo groups are the people who suffer most, and they have been demanding, infrastructure. For instance, in terms of road development, also they were demanding Churachandpur to Jiribam connection, Churachandpur to More and other places within the hill areas, which in the northern side, the Naga dominated areas, they are already connected with national highways. So they are demanding all this, connectivity within their dominated districts. In terms of infrastructure development in schools and in medical facilities.
See, I am not going to get into the argument of who suffered more because it depends upon which side of the prism you are looking at. But point is the state has suffered. Its people are suffering. If tomorrow there is no incidents, there is no violence, and if there is peace and everybody works towards peace and not an armed resistance, automatically the rest of the demands will be done, the hills will be connected. And if those roads are going to be used for narcotics, then we have a problem. If it's going to be used for pushing local produce, local culture, and also to nationalize and perhaps further internationalize what's special to that region, yes, absolutely, it is for the right reasons. I think those are some few caveats everybody has to embrace. Yes, Doctor.
The medical facilities.
Yeah, absolutely.
All these are for nationalization. What is it for?
No, absolutely. Sir, why shouldn't there be an IIT in Imphal or an IIM or an AIMS in Kangkopi? It should be there, sir. It should be there. It should be there, but these can't be built overnight. Like these things take time, and then there has to be a certain level of CBM, and there has to be a certain level of
intent. I'm talking about the priorities. Look into the 27 or 30 odd projects that will be inaugurated tomorrow. Only 2 out there from the Kuki-Jo areas. Just upgradation.
Sir, in the last 3 decades, could you count even these 2 projects for the Kuki-Jo areas? It's come. It'll come more. Once these are built, the rest will come. It's a matter of chicken. We can't keep playing. Like I said, it's coming for the state. It's not coming. The
in
roads.
times of
So
urgency
the
like
roads.
this,
If
in
we
times of
open,
urgency like
sir,
this,
Doctor
no,
Hauke, Doctor
the
Hauke,
government
if there is no
situation,
segregation of areas,
transport,
if there is
it has
no
not been
segregation of
adequately
areas,
addressed,
if
and
there are
there
no,
has been
if there are no regions which are deliberately demanded that they will stay there and we'll stay there, the roads don't choose between Kuki and Zo. The roads don't choose between Meitei and Naga. They don't choose. It's open for everybody. The point is that does everybody want to work with everybody, or does everybody want to say me first and me and only me and nobody else? That's a call that all the tribes and all the groups have to take together, saying that we will live in harmony or we will live in acrimony. That's a simple point. Dr. Ranganathan, I'll come back to you, sir, and then Colonel Sapam. Yes, Dr. Ranganathan.
Good evening, Anand, and good evening to my fellow panelists. I have 3 or 4 very quick points to make. Number one, Manipur is a tragedy at multiple levels. And the reason why this is so is because one level that is compounded is that as a common citizen of India, it is a tragedy because we as Indians feel helpless. And I'll tell you why. It's not just about the Manipuris, it's about the Indians feeling helpless because nobody is giving us the answers. And now let me come to the points. Number one, it is certainly perplexing that the Prime Minister, who has visited every affected flood, war-torn, affected area in India multiple times over, has not visited Manipur. And I said this 2 years ago. Nobody has asked him this question for 2 years. Including a general election that has gone past. He has never answered this question. Why? Who has advised him not to visit Manipur when it has been affected, when 400 people have died, when more than 50,000 have been displaced, when more than 500 homes and other religious places of worship have been burned to the ground? What is this fixation of his to not visit Manipur? That nobody has asked him. Number two, the Supreme Court is quiet. The court that does suo moto at the drop of a hat is totally quiet and has watched in complete silence the state descend to anarchy. And here I ask, this is why as a common citizen, Anand, I find it so perplexing as to why Narendra Modi or any other politician would take the blame for what has happened. No party is to blame for it. In fact, it was the High Court and the Chief Justice of the High Court who said we need a white paper to determine whether Meiteis should deserve an ST status or not, something that they've been asking since independence. In fact, when the central government was a Congress government, UPA government, and the Manipur government was also Congress, they demanded exact such white paper. It wasn't given. Then the governments changed both at center and state. They demanded the exact thing. It wasn't given. Then the High Court stepped in. And so much anarchy happened that the High Court in an unprecedented way had to redact its request. Can you imagine? We call ourselves a democracy when all what the High Court asks is a white paper to give us clarity on whether ST status should be given to the Hindu majority Meiteis, and the High Court has to redact its statement. Number two, can you please explain why Maharashtra is not under president's rule? Can you please explain why Tamil Nadu is not under president's rule? In Maharashtra, you have a major community, Marathas, demanding reservation, demanding OBC status. In Tamil Nadu, you have more than 80 to 90% reservations being denied to Brahmin community. So it also tells you that violence pays in this country. If you pour onto the streets, if you commit to violence, then the state crawls and bends and listens to you, in the sense ignores you. As politicians, we love to brush everything under the carpet and then walk over it and walk with confident strides, especially if the carpet is red.
But there is a bit of a bordering on the a cynical view to what you're saying, Dr. Ranganathan. But with due respect, I'll tell you that courts took cognizance. There is a court-monitored oversight, Supreme Court Oversight Committee, which is supposed to be under Justice Geeta Mehta. It is supposed to look at the transformation, rehabilitation, and it is constantly monitoring. And it has also asked the centre a lot of questions, explanation on delivery. I agree. The other thing is, compared to the mainland, when I say the mainland states or the more prominent states in our country, and sadly that I have to use this reference, for a long time the Northeast fell on the blind spot of the policy makers. And that has changed under Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So I think that credit should be given where it is due. The 8 sisters of the Northeast, the pride of Bharat, have truly become pride of Bharat and really integrated, and the sense of integration has happened over the last 75 years of our independence, has happened only recently under the last decade and 2 to 3 years. Till then it fell on the blind side. People, there was a huge amount of alienation that had run deep into the society and fissures, far greater than what the alienation that was largely projected even on national media in Jammu and Kashmir. So it was something which fell on the blind spot for a lot of people. It's changing now, and one has to credit Prime Minister where it is due. Are there reasons for strife? Yes, but haven't border issues been resolved? Hasn't Himanta Biswa Sharma been tasked with working with the NIDA to try and solve most of the border issues with most of the other states, even if Assam as a big sister there has to compromise? It's been done. Is the Myanmar border not being fenced now? That open border, open route had created problems, and it's being fenced now. These things should have been addressed long back. Are there other forces beyond politics? Yes, there are. Were these forces countered? No. Were they given a free run? Yes. Have they ceded themselves? Have they tried to alter the civilizational ethos and history of Manipur? Not just Manipur, but also Mizoram, also Nagaland. The rich history which is there, has that been erased and brought it to only last 200 years? Yes, it is true. But this will not happen overnight. These things will take some time. We've just tried to work together a deep dive into this entire history and what's happened since May 2023 till now. I'd just like to play that out, and then we try and come back. Manipur's conflict pits the valley's majority community, the Meitei community, against the hill-dwelling Kuki-Zo tribes, with roots in land, affirmative action policy, migration pressures from Myanmar, and long-standing insurgencies. A controversial High Court order in April 2023 about Meitei eligibility for scheduled tribe status precipitated mass protests and clashes. The Supreme Court later criticized that order and set up a rehabilitation oversight committee. The humanitarian toll includes over 60,000 displaced and 258 deaths, alongside widespread destruction of homes and places of worship. November 7, 2022, Manipur issues forest encroachment orders that later feed tribal grievances over land rights and evictions. Months later, in March 2023, the Manipur cabinet announces withdrawal from a suspension of Operations Truce with some Kuki groups, heightening tensions. In April that year, the Manipur High Court order recommends ST status for Meiteis. It became the match that lit the communal powder keg. In May 2023, after the Atsum Tribal Solidarity March, statewide violence erupts, curfew and army deployments follow, along with shoot-at-sight orders. Home Minister Amit Shah undertakes a multi-day visit, meets both sides and announces measures for relief, investigations and confidence-building mechanisms. In 2023, Manipur witnesses one of Bharat's longest statewide internet shutdowns. In August, the Supreme Court takes suo motu cognizance and appoints the Justice Geeta Mittal Committee for Relief and Rehabilitation Oversight. The top court also declares the controversial High Court ruling as factually wrong. In February 2024, the centre announces the end of the free movement regime with Myanmar, and the border fencing plan advances. However, violence flares periodically, with both sides heavily armed, while humanitarian conditions in relief camps remain strained. By November 2024, the official toll reaches 258, with the displacement of over 60,000. In December 2024, Chief Minister N. Biren Singh publicly apologizes for the unrest. 2 months later, he resigns and President's rule is imposed, which continues with extensions. What are the resolution measures? In March this year, rights groups note the state's de facto partition into the Meitei Valley and Kuki-Zo Hills with buffer zones and restricted movement. In July, the state announces a 3-phase resettlement plan aiming to close relief camps by December with financial packages to rebuild homes. Since August, the centre has renewed truce with 2 umbrella Kuki-Zo groups, the KNO and the UPF, ahead of the Prime Minister's visit. But Meitei civil bodies reject the extension, and the Kuki groups insist on no free movement across the buffer zones, which includes key transport networks. Buffer zones and heavy deployments have reduced some direct clashes but entrench segregation. Meanwhile, Supreme Court monitoring via the Justice Geeta Mittal Committee for Relief and Rehabilitation has pressed for transparent data on destroyed and encroached properties and extended the committee's tenure. Where do things stand currently? The violence is lower than mid-2023 levels, but segregation, movement curbs and sporadic flare-ups persist. Civil society on both sides are criticizing the centre's peace packages. The Prime Minister's visit sends a major message, but a durable peace will require credible, victim-centred justice through fast-tracked prosecutions as per the Supreme Court oversight. Security, sector reform and verifiable disarmament, negotiated mobility guarantees across buffer zones with community monitoring, transparent, needs-based rehabilitation and an inclusive political compact that addresses representation, land and forest governance, as well as border management. Concrete steps to tackle these issues can deliver progress beyond an uneasy calm.